Welcome everyone in this new video tutorial about Diablo-like dungeon generator. In this video we are going to implement a simple logic that allows us to spawn different type of objects when we actually specify that we want an event in our dungeon. So we are going to open up our generic tile, and the first thing we are going to do is actually to remove the child actor that spawns an event, because we don't want each of the tile in our dungeon to spawn a special event. We only want some tile we specifically designed for to spawn the event of that dungeon. So we are going to remove the event from our generic tiles. And then what we are going to do here is open up our BP Gizmo Blueprint, and we are going to create a new matrix, which is going to be the type of object that event needs to spawn. So that Gizmo needs to spawn. So we are going to call that actor class. We're going to make that an actor, and we're going to make that a class of actor. We're going to promote that to a public variable, and we're going to drag and drop that to our metrics folder. And actually, I think we might do that a little bit differently. I think we are going to delete the actor class from there. We're going to find the gizmo in our content browser, and then we're going to create a child blueprint class of that, which we are going to call BP Gizmo underscore events. We're going to open that up, and we're going to make that an event. The type of that gizmo is going to be an event, and then we are also going to create the variable I was talking about, not a function, a variable. This is going to be event class, and we're going to promote that, and we're going to say this is a BP event class, like that. We're going to say this is public, and this is in our metrics folder, and this is going to be the actor which is going to be spawned when there is a gizmo event in our dungeon. So by default this is going to spawn BP events like that. So if I'm hitting play, so we have a corridor at the beginning of our level. So we're going to open up that corridor. Where is it? If I'm not mistaken, this is in our replacement tiles. We want a northeast corridor. Like that. So actually this is a force tile, and I actually want to spawn our events not in a force tile but in a replacement style. So I opened up our four-way replacement style, and in there we actually want that tile to be spawning a cursed chest or something like that, or a mini boss, or I don't know what. So I'm going to add a component which is going to be a gizmo, a child actor. This child actor is going to be, this is actually going to be a gizmo event, like that. And in our metrics we can specify what type of event we want it to spawn. For now it's only saying it's going to spawn a BP event. But if I want to create, so I'm going to find the BP event in our content browser. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call that events. And if I want to create specific events for my levels, I can just create a child blueprint class of my BP event. I can call that, let's say, cursed chest. I can drag and drop that in my events folder, and then I can duplicate that cursed chest, and I want a malefic, how can I say that? Evil urn. I don't know if you played Diablo 3, but in Diablo 3 you have a dungeon where one of the tile is a four-way, and you have an urn at the middle, and you hit the urn, and there's a lot of enemies spawning all around, and you have to kill them in a certain amount of time, like that. And we're going to duplicate that. We're going to call that I don't know, mini boss, let's say. We're going to hit S, to hit Control S to save. And we want the four-way to actually spawn the evil urn. So we're going to say that the event class is the evil urn. And then we're going to open up our evil urn. We're going to open the full blueprint editor in the viewport. We want the evil urn to be, I don't know, flat red, and we want it to have another static mesh like that. So I duplicated the cube. I drag and drop the cube on the other cube. I'm moving that up. I'm saying it's a little bit smaller just so I can see if the malefic, the evil urn is spawning correctly. So like that. So that gizmo is going to spawn an evil urn. And maybe you can set up something that says, hey, we actually randomize that the event class, the gizmo spawns, and then you can have an event that spawns that randomly spawns different types of events. So we have a replacement style, which is our four-way, and it's containing an event. We're going to call that event, by the way, malefic evil urn, like this. And we have to set up the logic in our level generator for it to spawn the proper actor class. So if we are going in our gizmo folder, in spawn gizmo actor, actually in our spawn gizmos, in there, what are we doing? We are saying that we simply, so we only built a simple logic that says if you are an enemy, we spawn several of you. But we actually want to create a new function. That's how you can more properly handle the spawning logic of the different type of events of gizmos. So we're going to build up two functions for enemies and events, and you can build your own one for the rest of the type of events. So we're going to create a new function which says spawn enemy gizmo. We're going to move that to our gizmo folder, and then we are going to say this doesn't need any parameter, I believe, or maybe yes, it needs the progression value. So we're going to pass the float as a parameter, progression, like that. We're going to move that in here. We're going to Control X that. We're going to go to our spawn enemy gizmo. We're going to paste that like that. We're going to pass our progression in here. So when we spawn enemies, what do we want to do? We want to spawn gizmo actor. So it spawn enemy gizmo, it also needs a gizmo. So this is actually quite strange. How am I doing it? Actually, is it spawn gizmo actor? Why does it need? So actually that function should not need, this should not need to have to get a gizmo as parameter, or does it? It should just ask for a transform, I believe, or a location maybe. Well, actually we are looking for a spawn area size in there, and only gizmo have spawn area size. But what if we want to spawn an actor without a gizmo? Maybe we'll just build another function when we do that. So spawn enemy gizmo actually needs the gizmo variable, a reference, like that. So we're going to go back to our spawn gizmo function, and then we want to pass the gizmo as parameter like that. So if the type of our, we're going to delete that. So if the type of our gizmo is of enemy type, we're going to spawn enemy gizmos. If not, we are just going to spawn gizmo actor, and we are just going to specify that we want we are not going to specify anything in here for now. So we can also just switch on the gizmo type, but this is far less efficient than doing a series of branch. This is more this is asking for more performances from your computer, but it's clearer if we just look at our blueprint. So if we are spawning an enemy, we are doing this. If we are spawning an enemy, we are just going to spawn an NPC character. If we are spawning a reward, we are just going to spawn a reward. Same for our destructibles. And then we are going to go to our spawn enemy gizmo function. We are first going to copy spawn gizmo actor. We're going to paste that here. So when we spawn an enemy, when we are looping through an enemy gizmo, what do? We try to spawn one enemy per third of the dungeon progression. So 1, 2, 3 enemies are going to spawn depending on how far we are from the start tile. And we don't want to spawn NPC, we want to spawn enemies. Like that. And then we're going to duplicate our spawn enemy gizmo function, and we want to create spawn events, spawn gizmo events. And this is also we are also going to rename that spawn gizmo enemy. So spawn gizmo event, we are going to delete everything. We're going to keep the parameters. And what do we want to say? We want to cast the gizmo to a gizmo event, because if we actually loop through, so maybe if the cast fail, it means I'm going to open up our replacement tile. So there are two ways you can create events. Actually, you can create events like we did previously. You had a child actor, you said that's a gizmo event, and then you say what type of events it spawns. Or you can just say add a child actor of type gizmo and say that's an event. But when you do that, you cannot specify what type of event that spawns. So we can say doing this is actually considered like a common gizmo, like a common event, and doing this is spawning a specific event. We can say that. So if you spawn a common event, in here the cast is going to fail. So we're going to just comment there, spawn common event. And maybe when you do spawn a common event, you can actually draw a random event to spawn or stuff like that. So if the cast succeeds, it means we actually added a specific event to our tile, like we did there. We actually added our malefic urn, our evil urn, to that tile. So we want to grab the actor class we specified in there. So if I'm going in our gizmo events, we have a variable called event class, and I want to grab that. And I want to actually spawn gizmo actor of that type like this. I'm hitting compile, hitting save, going back to our spawn gizmo function, and I actually want to spawn gizmo events. If the type of gizmo I'm looping through is events, I want to give them all the parameters it needs. I want to hit compile, hit save. If I'm hitting play, nothing should change, except it's telling me it fails to spawn a force tile. So if I'm checking in our metrics, what type of force tile am I asking for? I'm actually asking for a corridor early in the dungeon, and I actually want to ask for one replacement tile which is of type, which is going to be our four-way. So I want a four-way, a replacement style four-way. Where do I want it? I'm going to try to put a four-way in the middle of our dungeon. I'm going to hit compile, hit save. If I'm hitting play, it's saying it failed to spawn the generic, the force tile, so I'm just going to increment the amount of tiles because we only add 5 tiles in our dungeon, so no wonder why it failed to spawn the dungeon. Failed to place the tile, replacement tile. Why did it fail? Whereas we actually have our tile, so it should not have failed. If I'm hitting play once again, so it says it failed to spawn that tile, and I'm not sure why. Okay, I know why. So if I'm going to our replacement tile in here, the tile connections, we have a bug in the tile direction. It's asking for, it's only asking for, I mean, we have an extra thing we should not have in the first place, and the tile connection should be all connected. If I'm hitting play, it managed to spawn our tile, but I feel like there is no events in there. So we do have our destructibles, NPCs, and rewards. We add enemies, but it seems like it didn't. Oh, it did spawn the evil urn. So we can properly add evil specific sets of events to our dungeon. But we're just going to make sure the other replacement tiles is fine. So it's not, the other replacement tile is not fine. It failed to the tile connection reset and add bug. So northeast connection, we're going to hit compile, hit save. And I'm afraid, okay, so our generic tile have not been reset. Did our end tile got reset? They did not, so we are fine with this. Okay, so we don't have any other bugs regarding the direction of our tiles, and we have 2 new functions that can, where you can build up your logic to spawn the different type of gizmo you add to your dungeon. And it's going to wrap up that video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.